Hello everybody, how is everyone today? I'm sure everybody is just wonderful, correct? The whole two people that I got watching at the moment. Welcome to Mike's Mac Shack. We are going to play with some PC stuff today. At least we're going to try to. So, I gotta go get my cup of coffee quick. I'm going to just kind of chill here for a little bit and kind of let people filter in, I guess. I'm glad you like my retro music. I like to incorporate those into some of my videos. So, I'm, whoops. Hey, Steve's here, finally. Hey, Steve, how are you today? Nice to see you. Retro music, retro game music, don't matter. As long as it's old. I live in the 80s and 90s, so... I'm doing pretty good, Steve. Thanks for asking. I gotta go get my coffee. I'll be right back. Hi, Lucy. Okay. So, everything sound okay? My audio's loud and clear, I assume. At least loud, maybe. I need to get one of those hanging microphone things so that I can get my microphone off my desk and get it closer to my face, I think. It's on the list of future things to do. Cool, thanks, Steve. So we're going to do something a little different today. We're going to play with a PC, which in and of itself isn't so much different. But, I don't know, while we're doing it, I thought maybe we could have a little chat session if anybody was interested. If you wanted to ask me any questions within reason. But before we do that, we're going to boot up the PS2 one last time with OS 2. Now, I'm going to actually put this through my capture device that I just got. Because it's going to be in a graphical mode. The upscaler I'm using does not work with the 80 by 25 text, so we have to when I'm actually working in DOS, I'm going to actually be pointing the screen or the camera at the gas plasma screen. But for OS 2, I want to show it. I kind of want to show it in color. And then if you guys want to, I'll show it to you in gas plasma too, so you can see it in bright orange. It's actually kind of cool. So, we're going to fire the monstrosity up. This has an ad-lib card in it. Sound Blaster cards for an IBM PS2 cost about $2,500 right now. So it has an ad-lib card, but we're not going to actually hear any sound out of it. So, unfortunately, while it's actually showing text on the screen, most of the time we're not going to really see what's going on. You might see bits and pieces of it. But yeah, you have to give up your firstborn and your secondborn and several other body parts in order to buy a Sound Blaster card for a PS2. So now we're loading OS2. This is version 2.1, and OS2 is a very good operating system. It's a full 32-bit operating system. Unlike Windows 3.1 of the time that ran on top of DOS, OS2 was its own operating system. It does have a command line prompt, and it also has a Windows 3.1 shell that comes with it. Hi Dana, welcome to the stream. So we're going to see, and you can see exactly how kind of slow this thing is. The computer itself is not slow. It's a 386 megahertz, or I'm sorry, 386 20 megahertz processor. It has 8 megabytes of memory, which is actually quite a good bit of memory for a 386. It tops out at 16 megs, but it has a 60 meg ESDI or SD direct bus attachment hard drive, which is ridiculously slow, and unfortunately it's near impossible to replace, and at the moment that's the main reason we're getting rid of OS2. So we're now booted into OS2. Now this is the what we call the desktop, and anybody who's used Windows at all, or even Mac OS, recognizes, here we have hard drive, here we have floppy drive, down here is the shredder, which is basically the trash can on Mac OS, and then these are programs or windows. Like the OS2 system is actually, it's like a window, and you can go in and there's it does come with some applications installed. There's a terminal program, there's a pulse program, which actually kind of like the system monitor, I guess you could say. Kind of shows you system activity. There's a calculator, there's a basic spreadsheet, there's a basic database, there's a word processor here somewhere. Well, there's the enhanced editor, and then there's the notepad. There's a planner and a calendar. So it comes with some basic productivity applications. Hey Action Retro Sean, how you doing? Thanks for joining. So it actually comes ready to go out of the box, unlike Windows. I guess the picture viewer won't show bitmap files. No, actually it has better games, to be honest with you. So you go in here to games. Somebody was asking about games. It comes with chess, jigsaw puzzle, cat and mouse, scramble, and reversi and solitaire. I never actually played cat and mouse. Oh, it's just a little cat runs around the screen. To show Windows, catch the cat by hitting the Alt key or by clicking with pointer. Okay. Oh, that's kind of cute. I've never seen that before. I never really paid attention. Under OS 2, I can't imagine Windows or Wolfenstein 3D would run all too well. Actually, Wolfenstein 3D runs rather well on the computer itself. So, yeah, it's I mean, it comes with better games than, I mean, Reversi came with Windows 3.0, and it was replaced with what the hell was it? What was that game? Minesweeper with Windows 3.1, and then of course Solitaire. You know, that comes with every version of Windows. So, and then we can go into command prompts. And we can actually load Windows. And Sean, your real benchmark should be how well it runs Doom, not how well it runs Wolfenstein 3D. Although Wolfenstein 3D is much better suited for older computers. So, and you know, here's the Windows 3.1 Program Manager. So, and it's just a basic install of Windows. There's no games or anything like that. So it's just you know, the basics, just enough to get it going, really. So, hi Zombie Geek. And, you know, we can load up an OS2 prompt. You know. And the OS2 system works the same, almost the same exact way as DOS itself does. The commands are all the same. You know, if we type VER, we'll get the operating system 2 version is 2.10. We type mem, it'll tell us all about the memory. In theory, should. There we go. Yep. Doom is just a cheap Wolf 3D clone. Oh my gosh. That's funny. Oh. So, but that's, yeah, that's OS2. I don't have anything else installed on here because there's no hard drives. There's basically no hard drive space left after installing OS2. So, and I can't use my external hard drive, which is the main reason that I'm doing away with OS2. So, hey Ashton. So, what we're going to do is we're going to shut this down. Well, we're going to shut down OS2. And then just for the hell of it, maybe if I can pull the VGA cable. There we go. just so everybody can see it in its wonderful glory. Okay, that's cool, Ashton. Thanks for showing up. Appreciate it. Now we can see what OS2 really looks like. And it's orange, amber, gas plasma glory. It actually doesn't look bad, to be honest with you. I mean, nothing really looks bad on this screen. It's just all shades of orange. You know, there's no shades of gray. It's just all shades of orange. So if you really like the color orange, you would really love using this computer without the external screen. Yes, I have multiple tripods, Dana. Now, obviously, I don't see the screen refreshing when I'm using it, you know. And it is actually not quite as bright. The camera's actually kind of amplifying the image. See, even if I turn it down, the screen kind of is still amplifying it. So, and I, you know, so there's our little kitty cat running across the screen. You gotta chase him down. That's cute. I never paid attention to that. I never took notice of that. So, but yeah, there's OS2 in its gas plasma orange glory. Yes, Trina, the screen is supposed to be that color. It's a orange gas plasma display. This is my IBM P70 portable. So what we're going to do is we're going to shut down. And this will be the last time OS2 boots on this computer for a long time. My ultimate goal is to try to find a SCSI hard drive or some equivalent that I can install in this thing to replace the internal DBA hard drive. So, thanks for joining, Trina. So, what we're going to do is the first thing we're going to have to do is we're going to have to install DOS. So I have IBM DOS 5 here. This is actually a really good version of DOS. It's not quite as fully featured as some of the later versions, but you know, for a machine of this vintage, it's actually a really good version. So, no, Linux is just a cheap copy of Unix, is what it is. Unix is actually a command line operating system. It uses a regular CLI like DOS and the original. I mean, the original version of OS2 was used a CLI too. And not all versions of Linux are free. So, now of course DOS is going to complain because we can't install it on the hard drive directly at the moment, because OS2 uses a partitioning scheme called HPFS, which is basically like NTFS. So we have to F3, we have to drop to a DOS prompt, and we have to run Fdisk. And Fdisk basically lets you partition the hard drive. This is the DOS version of the Mac OS disk utility, sort of. It does part of what the disk utility does. So we're going to display the partition information, and we see right here that it's showing 58 megs as an HPFS volume. So what we need to do is we need to delete that partition, and then now there's no partitions on the drive, so we're going to create a primary DOS partition. Whoops. Okay. Oh, I need to delete a non-DOS partition. Okay, that's what. Okay. So, now we need to create a DOS partition. We're going to create a primary DOS partition. And since this hard drive is so tiny, we're just going to make the whole thing one partition. So, now we're going to reboot. We don't have to go through the memory test because it's a soft reboot. Hey Thomas. Well, this is DOS, so everything's command line only. So we're going to check everything. Everything's right. We're going to install to hard drive. The date and time are correct. It's actually an hour off. Probably because I haven't booted this computer up since the time change. So. And we're going to install, and we're going to run the shell on startup just because why not. And we need to format, and because it's a first format, it's not going to be a quick format. So, oh yeah, there's tons of GUIs for DOS, but DOS itself is command line only. It's just like Windows is a GUI for DOS. Windows is not an operating system on these machines. It's more of an operating environment. You know, I mean, technically, if you get deep down into it, Mac OS, the Finder is just a graphical shell running on top of BSD Unix. So, yeah. Windows 3.1 is not exactly what I would call a great operating system. It's okay. It's not, Windows truthfully didn't start coming into its own until Windows NT 4 came out. And then for the consumer market, it wasn't actually until Windows XP came out that Windows actually became a great operating system. And then they had to go and screw it up with Windows 8 and Windows 10. Windows 95 was okay. Windows 98 wasn't bad. Windows Millennium Edition was a absolute freaking nightmare. But those three operating systems, and I say that loosely, still ran on top of a basic DOS system. Windows NT and Windows 2000 ran nothing. They were an operating system. If you think Windows 8 is the best, you need to have your temperature checked because you're insane. Windows 8 was great for a cell phone, not a computer. Windows 8 is fine on a phone. So, yeah, Sean, that's actually what I was using in high school in the 90s as well. Is Windows. We were actually mostly running in DOS, but we did have some stuff that ran in Windows 3.1. So, hello, Timothy Lewis. I mean, if you really talk about graphical interfaces for DOS, I mean, hell, the DOS shell that comes with DOS is a graphical user interface. So, ugh. Windows 7 was the last version of Windows that I really liked. Yeah, Windows 8.1 isn't horrible. I guess I'm just, I don't know. I hate change, and the extreme change that Microsoft did from Windows 7 to Windows 8 just didn't sit well with me. And it obviously didn't sit well with a lot of people because they more or less changed it back for Windows 10. So, well, the problem is installing Windows ME on an Intel Mac. I mean, I don't know. I don't see why you couldn't, to be honest with you. I mean, I don't think anyone's ever tried. Yeah. Yes, Windows 7 was awesome. I love Windows 7. I still use Windows 7 to this day on anything that'll run it. So, yeah, I use Windows, and actually that was the main reason, that was the driving force for me to go back to Macs, was the end of support for Windows 7. So, yes, this is my P70 portable. It is my portable thingy. Oh yeah, Windows 8 was great on a Surface, like a tablet or a phone. I mean, I have a Windows 8 phone, and it was a good phone. It was an awesome phone. I actually have a Windows 10 phone too, believe it or not. So, and that was actually a really good operating system. Windows 7 Mobile was good. I really liked Windows Mobile. You know, it's a shame they didn't have. It's a shame the apps weren't there like they were on Android and iPhone, because I think if they were, I think Microsoft could have given Android a run for its money. don't know if you can so much hear the hard drive, but I'm sure you can hear the floppy drive. They're not exactly quiet. Runs Mountain Lion. Mountain Lion is, it's okay. I don't know. I typically skip from Snow Leopard straight up to El Cap. I don't really have tons of experience. I ran Lion on a Mac Pro before I was able to hack it to run El Cap. So, and actually, I still run that same 1,1 Mac Pro to this day at work. So, and it still runs El Cap. You know what? I've never used Maverick, Steve. I've never installed it on a machine in my life, so I can't say if it's good or bad. I jumped, like I said, I actually went to Lion. I had Snow Leopard, and then I had Lion, and then I jumped from Lion straight to El Cap, and then I had Sierra, High Sierra, and I run Mojave on my Mac Pro. So. Well, that's cool. I mean, I actually own a real box copy of Snow Leopard. And I own a real box copy of Tiger for PowerPC. This was actually a gift from my stepdaughter probably a decade ago. She bought it to install on an Intel iBook that I had, MacBook, and we didn't realize that there's actually two different versions of this software. I didn't know that, at the time I didn't know anything about OS X, and so we actually, this sat until I started getting back into old Macs again, and then I finally broke it out and started using it. So I also have this. I also have a copy of iWork 09 and iLife 09 that I got in a thrift store for $3 each. So, oh yeah, and I have multiple copies of Windows 7 Ultimate. Matter of fact, I've got two of them right here in the desk, in case you guys want to know how much I like Windows 7. Alright, so DOS is now installed. So what we're going to do now is find the big box of flops. And this is all the discs that I've made just since I started getting the IBM P70 up and running. So we're now at the command, or at the DOS shell. So the first thing, if I can find it, okay, so the first thing we're going to do oh, thanks, Steve, is we got to get the disk out for the backpack hard drive. So for anybody who's new, so when I bought this computer, the guy I bought it from, he was nice enough to give me a humongous, and I mean humongous, box of stuff to go with it that he was just going to throw away. So I was like, yeah, I'll take it. Well, included in the box was a 420 meg backpack parallel port hard drive. So I was like, that's awesome. So, whoops. And this keyboard ain't no Model M, let me tell you, because I use a Model M every day. Install to C. And this is really tiny software. So what it's going to do is it's going to basically install a line on my config sys. So yeah, we actually we used to, all of our computers in high school when used to boot into the DOS shell, because they thought that that was going to be the way to keep us from farting around in the DOS line and DOS prompt. And the fact that when I was in school, most kids didn't know squat about DOS itself. I was one of the fortunate ones. I had my dad had a PC in the house since I was, well, since 1984, I think it was. So I was one of the luckier ones, so I grew up on DOS commands. Yeah, I actually have one of those Apple Pro keyboards, one of the black ones. Alright, so as you see here, we now have a D drive. Oh, okay. Oh, okay. So it did install the mouse driver. So this is the backpack hard drive. Yeah. I see, you know, Trina, that these days it seems like I am one of the few people that still actually like using DOS. So I'm glad I'm not the only one that grew up on it. It just, when I was in school, it's like most kids didn't know crap about computers, you know. Computers were, we're talking early to mid 90s. Computers were, I wouldn't, they weren't new, but we had, you know, we had Apple IIs in elementary and junior high school. And actually, when I was in junior high school, we still had a computer lab with TRS-80 Model 3s in it. So, you know, there you go. And then we go to high school, and then all of a sudden we have PCs. So, and actually, high school was the first time I ever used a PS2, an IBM PS2, and that's where I kind of got my obsession with them started. So, I'm glad I'm not the only one that likes DOS. DOS was a great system if you're doing one thing at a time. So, if you're doing more than one thing at a time, DOS sucks. You can make DOS do more than one thing at a time. I've done it. You know, there's programs out there that'll allow you to run, you know, multiple versions of, or multiple instances of programs. But, you know, on its own, DOS does not multitask. So, now we're going to we're going to install DOS or Windows. So what I do is, because this machine has such limited space, is I actually install Windows on the backpack hard drive because it has more space, and the fact that I don't set the computer to automatically boot Windows, because a lot of the stuff that I prefer to do is DOS based anyway, and of course that's games. So I never had the privilege of using or owning an S100 based system. I kind of would like to. Wouldn't mind having something like a I don't know. I've watched people with their Altair clones, and I don't know. I think it would be kind of cool to have one of those. Just you know, it's not the same exact thing, but you know, I'm installing Windows for Workgroups. Oh, yeah. It complains about the screen. CPM was a good... DOS is really just CPM. You know, if you know anything about CPM, you really kind of know DOS. And vice versa. I mean, if you know DOS, you know CPM. No, I think you're thinking of Windows 95 for the 11 discs version, Solblats. I've used CPM on a TRS-80 Model 3, actually. That was the only machine I ever had the privilege of using CPM on. But CPM or DOS is basically just a version of CPM made to run on the 8086 processor. You know. Magnetic core memory. I actually had a chance to see core memory when I was in junior high school. It is very, very cool. And if I ever get a chance, I'd like to go to California to the Living Computer Museum. They have an IBM mainframe on display that actually is operational from 1959, and I'd love to see it. And that machine actually runs on core memory. So my mom used to be a key punch operator on System 360 and System 370 machines when I was a kid. So I guess you could say I've been around computers all my life in a way. So while we're sitting here installing Windows, if you're not subscribed to Mac 84, you should be, especially if you like Macs. He is a crazy person who probably has at least one of almost every Mac made. Some of them he has dozens. So check him out. His name is Steve. He's a cool guy. He lives in the Garden State. So you gotta check his channel out. He likes doing he's the one that actually got me into live streaming and and whatnot. So now we're gonna start Windows. We're not going to worry about that. I don't need README files. I'll install everything else. You're telling me you don't have a dozen iMacs, Steve? You gotta have a dozen iMacs. For crying out loud. So now we're going to install Windows for Workgroups. If anybody has anything they want to ask. Yeah, Sean, I know. He needs a dozen of each color. He's got to have a dozen of them. I mean, good Lord, he's probably got 6 or 7 of them just in the garage alone. Oh my Lord, Steve. You gotta have a dozen iMac G3s at least. I think that's probably the only one you have that many of. See you, Timothy. But Steve actually has an Apple III with a profile hard drive too. That I'd love to steal from him, but he won't let me anywhere near it. I tried to give him one, he turned it down. Yeah, they are kind of heavy, and I think it's because the whole computer is basically made of a solid chunk of aluminum. I mean, basically the whole computer is just one gigantic heatsink, you know. I had an Apple. I did have an Apple III at one point in time, but I had no idea what to do with it, so I ended up selling it to a friend of mine who's a collector. I don't know if he's still. I assume he probably still has it. His name's Tom Owad. He owns the website applefritter.com, and he's based up here in Carlisle now. He was in Mount Wolf, and now he lives in. I believe he lives in Carlisle now. So I sold him my Apple III. Oh my God, probably 15 some odd years ago. Yeah, mail drivers for fax. I know. That's about the most useless thing. Well, I don't know. I mean, you could still fax. I mean, I'd still have a fax machine at work. Yeah, I need to redo my Apple II GS's power supply. It went up in smoke a couple weeks ago. So yeah, I know Tom. He's a good guy. He was oh my God, he's probably 10 plus years younger than I am, and he's been collecting apples for eons. Fax's future. Oh, you know, in the day of computers today, I still don't understand. I mean, I guess I kind of understand why fax machines are still around, but it's just, oh my Lord, a fax is just such terrible quality. But we still use it at work, you know. And it's mainly when we have to send bills to somebody, because my stepfather, you know, in his infinite wisdom, he's 75 years old. He still does everything by hand, including our billing. As much as I try to computerize everything, it's, you know, he's still stuck in the 1950s. So a Heathkit H8. Well, I still have a fax machine at work. What? Lucifer? I mean, I guess if you think about it, a fax machine, you know, it's like if I had to send an invoice to somebody, you know, I'd have to take the invoice, I'd have to scan it to the computer, then I'd have to compose an email, and then email the invoice with an attachment. Whereas with a fax machine, I can just put it in the fax machine and just send it to them. So, hey Jeff, how are you? Thanks for joining. Yes, the cat you hear is Lucifer. She's either begging me for attention or she's in heat. I'm not sure which. Or both. She's bad. I have a fax machine here at the house and no analog phone line too. I have a fax machine at the house simply because I have one of those multi-function printers. I have a Canon image class network printer, and it has a fax machine built into it. Turn that back on so you guys can see me. Not that I'm really that much to look at. I have a... I don't know if I still have it. I had a Canon had a Canon Fax 10 in the shed. I can't remember if I kept it or not. Maybe I gave it to Steve. But it was basically a Canon BJC10 printer with the standard black ink cartridge that those use, which is the same exact printer engine and system that a StyleWriter 1 used back in the day. That is a... I don't know. What is that? It's a Brother, I think. Oh, it's a very filthy Smith Corona. Oh my God. Oh my God, this thing's filthy. This hasn't been out in forever. Wow. Boy, see, you had to ask about the filthiest thing in the house, didn't you? Oh. This thing is heavy. It is a PWP6 by Smith Corona. It is a monster. It is heavy. I think I bought it at a thrift store years ago, and I really only keep it around for when I need a typewriter. Which is why it's so filthy, because it hasn't been drug out in probably a year and a half maybe. It was made in the USA though, which is kind of cool. Well, thank God my videos aren't monetized anyway. So, but it works okay. I never used the word processor part of it. I've always just used the typewriter. Oh, that thing is heavy. Steve, I think that thing's almost as heavy as the IBM is. Yeah, I always like to have a typewriter floating around. I have bad arthritis in my hands, and when I get big forms in the mail or something from the state, a lot of times I just use a typewriter to fill them out, because it's easier than sitting there and typing. Hi Timothy, welcome back. Thanks for coming back. We have Simon in the background. Simon being Simon. Now he's going to get on my lap. Oh, come on, you white jerk. Come on. Come on. Oh. You know, I probably should go to a gym, Steve. But if I go to one, I'm taking you with me. I mean, I could just bench press. I could have the IBM in one hand and the typewriter in the other, and just do 10 reps each. Oh. Yeah, he's a sweetie. He's an old man. He's one of 10. So he yeah. Well, Steve, you have all those Trinitrons, and those suckers are heavy as all hell. I don't know, you could just use iMac G3s, at least those have handles. Oh, there's Lucifer. This is the one that's been meowing in the background right here. She's a sweetheart. She loves me to death, but for some reason she's skittish when I'm sitting out here, and I don't know why. It's kind of odd. Like if I go lay down in bed, she's all over me. But like if I'm out here and I reach down, she acts like she doesn't want anything to do with me. You act like your Aunt Midna, don't you? Yeah. Lucifer. I call her Lucifer because she's evil. Can you see? Say hi, Simon. I don't know if you guys can hear him, but he's purring up a storm. This cat's in heaven right now. Oh. Renault 52R, welcome. Which model PS2? There are several tower models. There's well, there's actually really only two. There's the 60, the 65, and the 80, which were the real big monsters, the real big tall ones. And then there was the 85 and the 95, which were the kind of wide but shorter ones. I don't know what kind of I'm not sure what kind of mods you could really do to either one of them, to be honest with you, because they're pretty specialized. Well, if I walk away from my computer for any amount of time, I have to actually lock the screen with Command Control Q, and I have to have it password protected, because otherwise my cats will walk on the keyboard, they'll lay on the keyboard, and it's not unusual for me to be laying in bed and forget to mute the sound and start hearing eep, eep, eep over and over and over again. Because they are bad. Well, that would be kind of cool. I'm not exactly sure how. I'm not quite sure how you would be able to do that. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of ways you could. You'd have to almost replace, like if you use let's say you used a Model 80. I mean, you'd almost have to replace the entire back plate of the machine, of the case, But I mean, it'd be kind of cool to see something modern in an older PS2 case. I always liked the way the PS2s look. I like the angular. I like the angular look of them. They were always cool to me. No, they haven't figured out light switches yet, thankfully. What are you doing, old man? What are you doing, old man? Yeah. Oh, I've been woken up in the middle of the night by the cats. Walking on my keyboard, and I used to have this iPod dock in my bedroom, and I used to keep my old iPhone 4S in it to stream iHeartRadio or just my regular music library or whatever I wanted to. I had this Logitech sound station, and it had touch sensitive controls on the front of it, so my cats would sit there and they'd paw at the controls, and it was a couple of times they've cranked the volume all the way up while I was sleeping. It scared the living crap out of me. So oh yes, they are monster. A fully stripped out Model 80 case only weighs maybe 15 pounds, because the Model 80 and also the 60 and the 65, those were all actually made of a plastic material. I can't really say it was actual like PVC plastic or what it was, but it's not. There's no metal in the computer. When you add the drive cage, the drives, and of course the power supply, that's when you start getting into the... I mean, the power supply alone probably weighs 15 pounds. I mean, it's a monster. And then those hard drives are ridiculously heavy. You know? I mean, I used to have a couple of Model 80s. They're beasts. They're great machines, but they are monsters. I mean, it's hard to believe that the Model 80, all the power of a Model 80 is actually basically the same thing that's in my Model P70, just with significantly less expansion. Put a set of Pi in a PS2. Yeah, hey. You can put a Raspberry Pi in just about anything. I mean, the things are only, what, like that big? It's amazing that now, I mean, we can get the power of an entire 386 computer into one tiny chip. I mean, it's crazy. So, okay, so... It's asked me to install a printer, so I'm going to install a IBM Pro Printer X24, because that's the printer I have, even though it's not presently working. But I'm going to install the driver for it a while. Yeah, I never really got into Raspberry Pi. All right, so now we're going to attempt to install the network here. So need to find... Okay, so we need to install TCP/IP for Windows 3.1. Okay. Okay, well, that's, I guess I'll have to remake that disk. Alright, we just won't install... We just won't install any networking at the moment. Yeah, a G5 case is nothing when it's stripped. I've stripped a few of them over the years. I actually still use a G5 as a server at work. I have a dual 1.8 that I use for a server. Runs 10.4 Tiger server. Yeah, they're good for that. So now we're rebooting. And we need to make some modifications to the config sys. Alright, so what we need to do okay. T5s are good for these cold winter. Yeah, they are. My office at work actually stays around 50 degrees when it's cold out because of the G5 running. Alright, so we have to load the backpack hard drive driver first because we have Windows installed on the D drive. So alright. Now we can load up Windows for Workgroups. Well, if somebody ran it over, Thomas, I mean, you could at least strip out whatever's left in it that's good, and scrap the case, because you know, spare parts are, you know, worth something. All right, so oops, that's not what I wanted. Yeah, they are very, very nice looking cases. There's actually there's somebody online and who actually makes adapter plates and everything to fit a PC inside of a G5, and I had actually thought about getting one of his kits, slapping a PC motherboard in there and making and trying a Hackintosh. I just I never really got around to it. Whoops. So now we're going to install the sound driver for the PC speaker. Which truthfully sucks on this computer because this PC speaker is so tiny. Just allows us to have a little bit of noise. And then we're also going to add AdLib, because we do have an AdLib card in this computer, believe it or not. Wow. $150 for stock Radeon 50 or GeForce 5200. Jeez. Well, the Radeon 9600 is actually like one of the most desirable cards for a G5. So, well, you know, Thomas, I can't answer if it's 8 or 16-bit. It's a micro-channel AdLib card, so it's in a 16-bit slot, but I don't think that the AdLib actually makes use of the entire 16-bit bus, because it was always an 8-bit card, to my knowledge. Okay. Well, let's see if we can find the speakers. Whoops. Oh, every wire is tangled. Right, there we go. Well, this isn't a actual ad-lib card. This is a Resound 3 from Tech Select. It's a modern clone. So the ad-lib card's working. Yeah. So while we're in Windows, yeah, unfortunately, a microchannel sound card, an actual Sound Blaster or Sound Blaster clone card for these computers is ridiculously expensive and way out of prices for me. I mean, an actual Sound Blaster card goes for well over $2,500 on the rare chance that they even come up for sale. And the IBM cards, even those go for over $100. And they're not even 100% Sound Blaster compatible. I mean, it's better than nothing, but, you know. Now we're going to install everyone's favorite program. Because somebody needs to have toasters. Damn it. Yeah. Some of the microchannel stuff for these computers is just stupid insane. I don't understand. I mean, I know it's hard to come by, but $2,500 for a freaking sound card is just insane. You know. I mean, they were like $300 when they were new. They weren't very cheap to begin with, but yeah, that's kind of why. Well, I think that's partially why they're so rare, and the fact that the PS2 was not a home computer. So the PS2 was never designed for home use. So um, I gotta find a serial. I know I have a serial number for this somewhere. I know, 5 megs for a full install. That is pretty. That's pretty insane. There we go. Nothing a little quick internet search can't find. We can find serial numbers for everything. I was on the website that I use. is up with that? So I have this site bookmarked that probably has a couple 100,000 serial numbers for old software on it. So if anybody's messing with one of these old machines, I don't know if any of this is Mac centric or not. But that's the website that I go to. I actually have a lot of Mac OS serial programs floating around for both classic Mac OS and OS 10. A lot of software today doesn't really, serial numbers really aren't a thing a lot anymore. So, and a lot of software you have to have internet in order for it to talk back to home. So, and Trina, the reason you heard the keyboard without seeing anything is because I have a Model M keyboard on my I have a Model M keyboard on my Mac Pro. So you heard me typing on my main keyboard. Yes, I'm crazy. If you don't have a Model M keyboard on your Mac Pro, then you're doing something wrong. And they're still made today. Unicomp actually still makes the Model M keyboard today. They make it in USB, and they still make PS2 versions. Somewhere along the line, I'd like to get a faster processor for this machine. This 386 is a little sluggish when you're running Windows. These antique hard drives don't really help either. Although the external hard drive over the parallel port is actually about 40% faster than the internal DBA hard drive is. Oh, I like my old Apple keyboard. I have an original Apple Bluetooth keyboard. The white keyed one with the clear frame, and I actually really like it. But the problem is the Bluetooth on my Mac Pro is not working properly. So, this is a 386DX 20. Most of the higher end IBMs all use DX processors, and then the lower end ones use the SX. So, upgrading the processor is not difficult. It's really just a matter of popping the 386DX off and popping in a replacement. There's actually a lot of replacements that work quite well on the PS2s, and there's a lot of information available on which processors work and which ones do not. Now, obviously, I'm not going to be popping a Pentium on the thing, so, but there's a lot of like what we call turbo 386s that are badged as 486s. They're kind of a cross between the two. So, they run a lot of 486 instructions, but they're still compatible with the 386 and the 386's socket and bus. So, we can pop the 386 off this board and pop it a faster one on. So, yeah, the 386SX is very slow. The 386DX is a full 32-bit processor. The 386SX is actually a 24-bit processor that is capable of executing 32-bit code. It's kind of like when Apple was putting 68030s in like the Classic and the Color Classic, and they were putting them on a 16-bit bus. They were seriously crippling the processor. Intel actually did something similar with the 386. That is the only processor they did that with. The 486, the difference between a DX and an SX is a 486SX is missing a few instructions, but the main thing that the 486SX is missing is a math coprocessor. And those extra instructions in the math coprocessor can be put in with a 487 processor. But obviously it's better just to have the 486DX. Yes, Trina, that is an easy solution. Just don't run Windows. I agree. I wholeheartedly agree. Unfortunately, there's some things I like to do under Windows, so... But truthfully, this computer, for most of what it's going to do in a long run, is basically going to be DOS-based. Which is why I install Windows on the external hard drive, because if I don't want to run Windows, I don't have to hook the external hard drive up. You know, and all of my stuff that I absolutely want to have with the computer at all times will always be on the internal hard drive. So, turbo button, yeah. Yeah, I remember turbo button. Ooh, excuse me, I did not mean it on like that. Oh my god, I don't remember this taking this long. Sorry, Trina, I didn't mean to. I don't know why I yawned like that. I mean, I took a nap this afternoon, for crying out loud. I had turkey sandwiches for lunch, I guess you could say. And I kind of put myself into a turkey coma again. So we will restart Windows. Yeah, It's funny you say that because when I was in high school, we had just that year, when my freshman year of high school, just gotten 486 SX25 computers in one of the computer labs, and it was the same thing. You'd hit the turbo button, and then it would go from, it would show 25 on the screen, then you'd hit the turbo button, and it'd go down to 16, and we never know. You could never tell a difference, you know. On a lot of systems, the turbo button was supposed to put it into a slow mode to make it more compatible with software that didn't run correctly on faster machines, but ran correctly on, say, 8088s and 286s. So, I don't know. I always thought the turbo button was stupid, but, you know, it's a PC thing. All right. Oh, sorry, I had to do that. I usually don't have the music play because it really slows the system down. But gotta have toasters. So what else we got here? What we got? Bad dog. This one's kind of funny. Oh. Oh, let's see here. What else we got? Oh, DOS shell. This one's cute. I love the toaster BIOS right here. And the funny thing is this is actually showing a real directory of the D drive right now, of the DOS directory that's on the D drive. Very slowly, but it's showing it. Alright, we're going to stop that. That's going to take forever. Oh, I always like this one. And this one's here's an act. This is an actually interactive screensaver. You can actually interact with it. Nonsense. What the hell? Oh, that's Batman sprinklers beside me tickled his virtuous thought by that. Oh my lord. Oh my god. Oh, here's another one, Rat Race. I always thought this one was kind of funny too. Oh. Guts. Oh yeah, that would be painful to run. Holy Lord. Or just keep the fine toasters on. Oh, no, I don't want to quit. I just want to minimize it. That's right. Alright, one more disc and we're going to call it a day here. I need to eat dinner. Hi, Prada. So everybody's favorite floof has shown up. Prada has decided to... What? Insufficient memory? How the hell do I have insufficient memory? That makes 0 sense. What? Huh. Alrighty. Well, I guess we won't install anything else under Windows. I got to find out what's going on with Windows, why it's running out of memory. But what we are going to do here it is. So now we got PK unzip installed. Rods. Well, let's reboot. Hi, Floof. You're a Floof. Alright, so we gotta have the all-important games directory. You want to see how we deal with zip files in the DOS days. Yeah. I mean, the easy way to do it, Trina, would be to make these self-extracting zip files and just have it ask you where you want to put it. But, you know, these are just basically copied off of my Mac. I don't really mind. I really don't mind typing out DOS commands. Truthfully, sometimes they get a little cryptic and annoying, but yeah, for the most part, they're not too bad. All right, here's Sean's favorite here. You know, another thing that would help Trina keep me from typing so much would be if I installed DOS key, then I could just, especially since I'm typing the same command over and over again. You know, all I'd have to do is just hit the up arrow and go to my last command and just edit the actual parameters. Here we go. Here is Wolfenstein 3D in its amber glory. All right, Steve. I'll probably be gone by the time you get back. I'm probably going to be ending here shortly. Okay, why is the mouse not working correctly? Oh. That's why. Okay. Oh, no. Back to game. Okay, let's try this again. Oh, one shot. That's impressive. By the way, I suck at this game, so don't judge me too harshly. Oh crap, I'm one-shotting these guys. That almost never happens. Well, I'm actually doing pretty good today. This is kind of impressive, actually. Whoops. It's possible. Last time I played this on this machine, I sucked. This room here is usually where I end up dying. I am much better at Doom than I am Wolfenstein 3D. I'd like to get the full version of this installed, and so I actually have all the missions. Whoa, almost bit it there. Holy crap, I made it! Man, I killed everybody too! I'm impressed. Sean's not here, but hey, at least now we can say it runs Wolfenstein 3D. It runs it pretty good, actually. Then again, it was kind of designed for these computers. Now these are some of my favorite games. Whoops. Oh. I always loved playing Commander Keen, personally. Whoops. There we go, now we got music. Yeah. It's a little hard to, whoops. Yeah, it is a little hard to kind of play some of these games in monochrome, because the problem is now it is VGA. Now this game's not VGA. This game's EGA. But Wolfenstein 3D is VGA. Now VGA is 256 colors at 320 by 200, which is what DOS games run at. But the problem is this screen can only show 16 shades, which is why VGA games like Wolfenstein 3D don't look real great on this. Now, if you hook a monitor up to the external port, then you can see all 256 colors. So, but but that is the installation of DOS and Windows on the PS2. I still have some other stuff I'm going to do to it, but I'm not going to do it right this minute. I need to eat something and act like I have more of a life than just sitting here streaming all night. Oh. So I want to thank everybody for coming. It's 2.5 hours, almost 2.25 hours. I didn't realize I'd been there that long. Yeah, it's kind of amazing how long it actually takes to install DOS and Windows on a old PC. So, but I want to thank all you guys for coming. I have no idea if Bruce is streaming tonight or not. I can ask him. It's Friday. Typically he does stream Friday nights. I'm not even sure if oh yeah, he's I don't know if he'll answer me, Trina. He oftentimes does stream on Friday nights, which is actually Saturday for him, because he's way ahead of us time wise. I don't know if he'll answer me or not. Oh, Bruce isn't home. Looks like Bruce is away. He won't be home for a while, but he said maybe tomorrow, Trina. So, but I'm going to do a video this weekend on the Classic. The Classic 2, actually. So, look for that. More likely Sunday, if you're a patron. It'll be released next week if you are not. If you are not a patron, consider throwing a buck or two my way and get a couple of little perks. Not required, you know, but I am doing some perks for supporters of my channel. So I don't do this to make a profit, so but you can go to patreon.com/mstanhope and if you wish to help support me and my crazy shenanigans. So like I said, I am going to do a video on the Classic 2 this weekend, and that should be up Sunday for patrons, and it'll, oh Lord, I don't want to know what the cats are doing. I think they knocked a fan down. And Tuesday for everyone else. So, but thanks for coming. If anybody has any ideas on what they want me to do, feel free to leave a message on my Facebook under Mike's Mac Shack. You can join me on Facebook, and yeah, I'll find something to do. So, on that note, I am going to call it a night. I am going to get something to eat, and I think I'm going to try to relax a little bit. So, thank you for everybody. Thank you, Soul Blast, Trina, Alan, Dave, Steve, Trina, of course, Thomas Armstrong, and Renoa and Timothy. I know most of you guys probably aren't here now, but you know, visit my Facebook page. I post whenever I either am going to do a stream or when I have a new video out. So, and if you have any suggestions, feel free to let me know. I'm always open to suggestions. I like suggestions. Suggestions are good. So, Ashton, sorry you just came back. I'm just getting ready to end. So, but thanks for coming. So. So feel free to go back and watch the parts that you didn't see. And so I'm going to end it here and call it a night. I wish all of you a good weekend, and I will see you soon.